Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexander and today we're going to talk about my experiences with being trans within customer service. As I mentioned to y'all in my last video, I got a new job and that's in customer service where I help people and talk to people over the phone, and I love it. I adore my colleagues, they're just the sweetest people, and I love the workspace. It's absolutely amazing. And it's really fun working there. Although with my identity as being trans, it's kind of difficult. As you all may tell, I am pretty. I have not gone through any sort of hormone treatments, and I have recently decided that I want to do that within my transition. And this has been a major factor within the fact that I talk to people on the phone and therefore people only hear my voice. And it shouldn't be a problem. My gender shouldn't come up in discussion when I help people with their TV, you would think. But apparently some people are so into other people's businesses that they think that it's okay to ask me what my gender is. When I answer the phone, I present myself with my full name, Alexander, because that is what I like people who don't know me to know that my name is. It's okay if my friends and family use my nickname Alex, but not if people who don't know me use that. Because I want people to know that my name is Alexander, because that is something that I've worked so hard on getting. Like, I worked so hard on being called Alexander. That is my name. And that confuses people. When I introduce myself as Alexander, people think that it's okay to ask me, do you mean Alexandra, or are you a boy or a girl? I'm like, oh, Alexander, you sound like a girl, and stuff like that, which is, I may be smiling, but you know, it's a mess. This has actually caused a lot of dysphoria for me in the last few weeks of work. And like, it didn't happen so much at first. People reacted, like, because some people are like, after you help them, they want to leave like a good review or something, and they're like, what's your name, by the way? And I'm like, I'm Alexander. And they're like, oh, but then they don't say anything else, which is fine, you know, people are allowed a reaction to something. But when you start getting up in my business about my gender, it's, you know, it's not pretty. And that dysphoria that it has caused me has sort of taken away my right to decide for myself whether or not I want to begin hormone therapy. I did have the thought of it before I started this work. It has been there in the back of my mind being like, hey, do you want to consider me? And I'm like, I don't know yet, and you know, like that. But within this job, I feel like if I am being forced to something, because even if I quit this job, even if like it all stops, this dysphoria will never leave me, because now it's there, now it's in the open, and now I know. It reminds me of when my ex-girlfriend introduced me to her dad, and my ex-girlfriend used gender-neutral pronouns about me because those are my preferred ones. And her dad was obsessed with knowing if I was a girl or a boy. And my ex-girlfriend was very clear about the fact that I wasn't a girl, I wasn't a boy. I was a person, I was non-binary, using they, them pronouns. And then we officially met. And he was just the worst. Like, he decided that I was a girl because of how I looked, because he had looked at me now and now he knew, you know. And and that messed me up a lot. I fell into a deep depression after that. That lasted a very long time, because after being like, I didn't experience dysphoria as much. Like, I was like, okay, maybe I don't like this, I don't know. I didn't really get to think about it. Like, it hit me like a freaking truck, you know? The fact that when people look at me, they perceive me as something that I'm not. That hit me so hard after that incident, and it came to the point where I could not be around this person anymore. And the thing that I'm going through now at work is sort of like that, but in miniature doses, reoccurringly. You know, because people hear me, they perceive me because of something that I do have. And like, my friends tease me about my high-pitched voice sometimes, because when I like talk to like someone in the cash register at like the local like grocery shop, I try to be polite, I try to be pleasant, and my voice goes like ding right up in the sky, and I'm like, oh hi, yes please, thank you. And like, they tease me about that, but like, it's okay because we're friends and they relate to it some way, and like, we've talked about it. It's not like it's something that bugs me, but like, that's fine. But when it comes in the way of me living my life, you know, it's not fine. Like, this is actually like, I've had to call in sick for work because my anxiety about going back to work is so skyrocketing. And that's the worst, actually. And it sucks because I love my job. I adore my colleagues, I adore the workplace, and I freaking wish that it was someone at my work who was being unpleasant to me about this. Like, some people misgender me, but that's because they haven't introduced, like, we haven't met really. They're like, oh, you know, like, in the going of things, like, as people do, and they don't think about it, and it's just in a rush, and I'm like, okay, let that slip. But no one is like openly harassing me the way that our customers are doing. And I almost wish it was like a boss or a colleague who would do this instead of the customers, because if it's a boss or a colleague, that's a person that I can physically like touch, I can get to them, I can make them stop. And it's like, there's a difference between like telling a colleague to stop and telling an entire population of a country to stop being transphobic. But the subject is up with my team leader and my coaches and my colleagues, and everyone are aware of the situation. So it's not something that I'm just like going around like feeling bad about. It's something that I've actually brought up with my boss, who are taking it up with their bosses and so on. And this has led to the discovery of myself that I am going to want to begin a hormone therapy transition, and that's scary for me because I am a poet. I use my words as a sort of art form. I get no adrenaline from anything as much as I get adrenaline from standing on stage performing with my poetry. And in about 2 years, when this possible transition with hormone therapy is going to begin, I am going to lose that, because it's going to cause me so much anxiety standing up on that stage, knowing that I might, like, my voice might crack and like stuff like that, and knowing that my entire plan of ever having a child is going to be very much more difficult, and I have to think about these things right now, which is something that I wouldn't have to do if I didn't feel a need for this kind of medical help. And that's a scary thought, knowing that I have to plan out parts of my future in my, early 20s. It's scary, okay? And my point with this video is not to discourage any trans person from being at a work within customer service. This is just my raw experience of being in customer service and speaking with a voice that doesn't necessarily match anyone's perception of my name, and how much that has sucked for me. But I'll keep working, and I'll keep trying to feel better, and I'll keep trying to do something about this, try to make a change, try to like move to a different department where I don't have to sit on the phone as much, and I'll just let y'all know if something changes and how that goes. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that this has in any way if it made you feel like you relate to some of this and that you're not alone. If you have any tips of how to get rid of or deal with dysphoria, please leave them down below. If it's just like one sentence tip, or if it's a blog or like an Instagram account or something that has helped you ever, just like leave it down below. And if y'all need some tips, go look down below, and hopefully we will fill up with some trans positivity and stuff like that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you soon again. Bye.